All right, we're recording. Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, and this is the weekly meeting of K8s SIG Docs. I think, what is it, like the 154th of March? Something like that. All right, let us start, as we always do, by saying hello to new folks or folks who are new to us. So Matt, you look familiar. I'm assuming this is not your first time to the Docs Radio?
I haven't been in a while. I'm intending to get involved, so I'm just lurking, but I'm back. So
awesome. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Any particular areas of interest?
Not really. I just like Docs. I've been working a lot in Cluster API, but I want to broaden out. So
excellent. There are always lots and lots of opportunities to triage open issues that haven't been triaged yet. Tim does an amazing job, but the flow is never ending. So yeah, and if you look for issues tagged with good first issue, they tend to get snapped up quickly, but that's another place if you want to actually get started, or if you just want to lurk, that's fine too.
Can I ask, Matt, which bit of cluster lifecycle in particular, if there is one?
Well, I work for Microsoft, so I've been writing a lot of code for Cluster API provider Azure, but also trying to work on Cluster API. And then like I do with everything I touch, I inevitably get drawn into the docs as much as anything else. So,
because I'm asking because at some point Cluster API is going to get more mature and it's going to want to have documentation, I think, in the main Kubernetes repo, or more signposting at least. So maybe that'll, maybe your involvement there will be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. All right, PR Wranglers. Our PR Wrangler this week is Taylor, only Dole, and next week's PR Wrangler is Chi Ming. Approvers, make sure you know when your PR Wrangler shifts are scheduled. Right, let's go to the agenda. Release 1.20 updates. It's really early in that process, so probably not a ton of updates there. Savita, I'm guessing that this is you to add milestone maintainers access for release shadows.
Yes, so Anna couldn't be here today, so I'm just speaking on her behalf, on my behalf too, both. So it will be great. So the release team shadows generally have milestone access to the reports, and for docs, we don't give milestone access to the shadows, which puts the load on the PR Wrangler or the lead or someone with access. So we thought it would be nice to bring it up. The SIG release team is on board. They fully support it, and they don't see a reason why it shouldn't be. There should be restricted access on this one. It came out during our retrospective. So we just thought we'll bring it up here to see how SIG Docs feels about it. Is it okay, or is there a reason that it's not there? The access is not given. Is there any reason? That's all for me.
Sure. Thoughts on this from folks? Celeste, do you give a +1? Okay.
Yeah, I think we just need to remember to remove that access at the end of every release cycle, but that seems like a release handbook thing.
Yeah, I will make a note. Thank you, Celeste. I didn't mean to cut you. I'm sorry. I'm overly eager today after the long weekend break. I will add a note to that. And I also wanted to discuss about things that went well in 1.19 and comments, but I'd like Anna to be here So probably in the next week, I'll just add it to the agenda. And we are also working on improving the overall process. The last cycle was really good. There was an integration between the SIG release and the release team and the docs, SIG docs. It was good. I feel like it was one of the reasons that it was a very smooth process. So we are trying to incorporate more things like that, and I'm gonna add those things to the handbook. Next week I'll come back with more agenda stuff once Anna's here. That's all. And I'll add that whatever Celeste told to the handbook. It's good. Clean up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't see. I think adding doc shadows to. Sorry, let me restart that thought. Giving milestone command access to doc shadows makes perfect sense to me. There's no reason to hoard that privilege in one place. But yes, we do have to be careful about cycling that at the end of a cycle.
So, sorry. Sorry.
Continue.
I'm sorry. I'm just horrible today. So cleanup. So there are the previous leads who are in website maintenance or some places. Do you want me to clean that up too? I will add a note to the handbook so that the new lead can clean up the old leads. How does that work? Like honestly, like I like to help with PR Wrangler shifts because this is where I started out, and this is like I feel like home. So I want to be helping, but I'm not. I just want to make sure that is this the need that we need to clear it out in the handbook, that once you serve as a lead, some things are expected out of you, and this is one such thing. Or I see folks. I just want to ask. It's not that I need to get an answer immediately, but I thought I'd just ask. We need to clear the other stuff wherever we provide access to, wherever we provide the lead access to.
I think the last thing that we want to do is turn down good help.
All right. I won't touch that. All right.
And I can add a little bit to that as well. I know historically the approver access has remained in the lead's possession for pretty much until they either became inactive or continued doing work there. And I know from a release perspective, they like to keep the permissions of the previous lead for at least the duration of the supported cycle. So while 119 is out now, you should remain in your release status until 119 is deprecated or no longer supported by the community at the very least from a SIG release perspective.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Awesome, thank you. That's all from me today.
Awesome, thank you, Savita. Okay, chair transition. So the time is upon us. September 15th is the day that I said months ago that I would be promoted to chair emeritus, whatever language we're using to talk about that. But yeah, promoted to chair emeritus. And of course, now the rubbish truck decides that it's going to rear its head. One moment. Symbolism. So, let's see, to deal with the formal governance piece of a transition, I am giving notice that I am stepping down as chair, and as is allowed in governance, I am nominating my replacement, and I am nominating Irvi Aini. Irvi has been a chair shadow for almost 3 months now, and Irvi has been a localization lead for a lot longer before that. So I have lots and lots of advice to give, but the last thing I want to do with a weekly meeting is give it all. So I will simply say, be kind to each other. I think that's where we've succeeded the most and where we succeed the most as people who do docs, is ultimately the thing that lets us know that we succeed is when we make someone else's lives a little easier. When we make it easier to learn how to use Kubernetes, when we make it easier to find particular commands, when we make our search better, when we make our UX better. All of these things aren't in service. Docs don't exist for the sake of docs. They exist to help. And when we help and when we approach the work that we do, knowing that it's helping work, it makes all the difference. So I think that the moments that I'm proudest of as a chair are the moments when I helped in ways great or small. And the moments of which I'm least proud are those where I forgot that what we do is helping work. So thank you to everyone. You've been amazing. And the reason that I'm saying all this now is because I'm not going to be here next week. I'm taking vacation. So this is my last meeting as a SIG Docs chair. So I'll be around as an approver afterwards. So I'm not going away. I'm stuck with me, but yeah, it's in the Kubernetes community values. One of the values is that evolution is better than stagnation, and we should expect folks who are new to step up into leadership, and we should expect folks who are current in leadership to step out and make room. So it's me doing my part. Cool. The other piece associated with an actual governance transition, the last, sorry, air quality so high. We'll open an issue in the Kubernetes website similar to 18117. And that's the link that is there in the agenda. And basically list all of the, list that I'm changing, list my nomination, and then use that issue also as a tracker of all the places where I need my permissions removed and Irvi swapped in instead. So I'm happy to open that, and I will do that sometime this week. Okay, and that's it for governance. Let's talk about PRs and issues. So Tim, I saw that you reopened issue 12303. And that's due to someone coming into Slack and saying, hey, what happened to the release 1-14 docs? Why can't I find them? I'm getting a certificate error.
They didn't even say they couldn't find them. They just were like, I can't negotiate TLS here.
Yeah. So there's a more graceful way to do that. And I think returning an HTTP 410 is the correct response here. So like technically it's trivial to set up. We just add a line. I think we can do it in a single line for the entire release branch to the subredirects file. But I wonder if there's a way to automate that, because right now adding that, it's going to be branch dependent. And if we add it, it will basically turn into a block of increasing size in that redirects file, that as we accrue deprecated release branches, that branch will also grow longer. So I wonder if there's a way to automate that piece of toil. It's one less thing for a release lead to track during docs release cycle.
Can it be can we set a variable in config.toml that says in support equals yes, and if in support equals yes, certain conditions happen, and if in support equals, oh no, that's not gonna work, sorry. Never mind. I was thinking out loud.
No, it's good.
I don't know how we, as a tech lead, I don't know how we discontinue old releases.
Yeah, do we just
go to Netlify and remove them. And so
Oh, I like that.
Just RM minus RF slash, that's it.
Oh, that's
No, so
funny.
the way that Netlify is set up, there is a separate site. We serve each release branch as a separate site. So when a branch is deprecated, we go to Netlify and remove, like delete that instance.
Can you, so I know what you're talking about because
Yeah.
I'm in the back end of many Netlifys. It might be good to actually share your screen and show people physically what it looks like. Because what you're saying is opaque if you have not seen the interface.
Fair. Let me.
And to wit, I wonder, because Netlify cooperates with this kind of command line config file operationalized way of working, I wonder if they've got a way to like command line hack operation. Can we
Give
check it out?
me.
There is a
1
Netlify
second.
API.
Oh, that's handy. Sorry, I'm looking for the share screen.
May I just say that I love that you used to it in a sentence? Because I like that phrase.
I don't know if it was correct. It just kind of came out. And I don't want to be edited live on a recorded video.
No. We're just happy that you used it. I like that.
Okay, so this is what our base group looks like in Netlify. So you can see that basically all of the subdomains that serve content from subdomains on Kubernetes.io have their instances here as well. But here's what it looks like in Netlify. This is the 1.17 docs, and the 1.18 docs, things like that. So 1.15 docs, basically what we do is we come in. Wait, no, is it? Let me go back. It is site settings. Come in here and delete the site. So that is how the actual removal happens. But I wonder if it's possible, maybe domain management. Celeste, are you thinking that Netlify has support for like serving a 410?
Not about a 410. I don't know about that. However, the Netlify does have an API for deleting sites, so we can automate that portion of it just by talking to the API. The would Netlify have? It has like redirect abilities and stuff, but I believe those are set via netlify.toml, so it would still be like going in and editing a file. Either way, all I'm at kind of doing this live on the meeting is there's an API for at least one portion of this thing.
Tim.
So I think the outcome that we might want, well, I think the outcome that we want is that no matter what old version of the docs you visit, it works. If you visit kubernetes.io, you always get the current docs. And if you visit an archived version, even after we've stopped providing the actual documentation, you get some sort of thing. We could do that with Netlify by creating a new site called docs removed or something, and then giving it 14 aliases, one for each of the versions of docs that we no longer serve. And every release, we add an alias.
Sorry, go ahead.
That was it.
I do think we might introduce just kind of doc rot and some sort of problems by supporting or keeping those old docs published. I know we have a general policy of, we support 5 of the latest releases. That's why we removed the one. I could see maybe a redirect or an alias pointing to either the current docs or something that doesn't break the URL in case somebody finds that URL somewhere out in the wild. but I think if we leave them up and running, we're giving ourselves potentially security risk, potentially old docs, PRs getting opened up on branches that are beyond support. I don't know if that's the correct place we want to get into. Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
No, I was just going to support what you're saying. It seems like maybe perhaps unnecessary technical debt.
So to be clear, I wasn't suggesting leaving the old docs running. I was suggesting replacing them with a single page saying it's gone. Using Netlify to do that.
Yeah, I would be up for that. Now, I don't know if there would be a trade-off between some sort of either redirect to the main page versus hosting a it gone page, but you know, I think that makes sense.
I mean, we could. So there's no good reason why we couldn't have an alias that redirects to like a custom 410 page saying not here. Okay, so it sounds like there are any number of graceful ways to handle the user experience around removed sites, but it still sounds like there might be some question about how much we can automate. So I would hate for the lack of perfect automation to get in the way of a good solution. So I wonder if we can start by adding a block to the current redirects file for basically all of the previous versions that will serve a 410.
I don't think it will work. Because when you
more.
delete the site from Netlify, Netlify doesn't know which of the other Kubernetes websites it might go and look from the configuration from.
Fair. So if you try to go to
a site that matches the host name, but like we can do that. I've never actually done it, but you know, it's like making a release. So I can take the hint from the release docs.
It's one of the things that I love about this SIG. We've never done it before. Why should that stop us? Excellent. Well, do you want to take a stab at that?
Yes. So what I propose to do, I'll listen to see if there are some different opinions on an approach. But if this is roughly consensus, I will pick up the issue that we're discussing 12303. I'm going to not mark it rotten, and I'll add some comments, and I'll aim to pick that up.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Right. And Tim, I see also you have something about the redesign of the API reference docs.
Yep. So Philippe Martin is a Google Summer of Docs, Season of Docs person. And tomorrow, if he was on this call, he'd have had a chance to comment more directly, but no worries. Tomorrow, I'm going to catch up with Philippe and talk through what that's involved and have a sort of kickoff conversation. I guess if anyone's got any feedback, comments they want to put in, that can, I don't know the issue number, sorry, but I can find it if people want to contribute, if it's particularly important, or you can search, or you can talk now. The work that Philippe is looking at is improving how we render the API reference documentation that's currently there. We auto-generate it from upstream. Doxy also has its own view of how to take open API documentation. And I think, you know, the outcome is to take the best of both worlds and improve the experience as much as we can.
So he's probably going to try and customize what Doxy gives. Is that it?
Well, I haven't had the kickoff yet, but
Okay.
I think what we know is that Doxy's approach on its own looks at the Kubernetes specification and goes, you know, there's way too much information to decode the matrix.
Yeah, okay.
I wish I would have to go digging to find the URL, but Philippe has already built a site that basically serves the Kubernetes API reference in a pretty fashion with a different Hugo theme. And Philippe's first question was whether or not it would be possible and or desirable to import that experience into the website repo. And my response to that was no, because it creates a site within a site. The experience of maintaining that particular construction and delivery of reference content, it doesn't really play nicely with the rest of our existing site configuration. And so I want to make sure that whatever we adopt doesn't automatically incur technical debt simply by nature of its existence. And like starting with starting from a premise of this is unlike anything else on the website has not historically led to hugs and puppies. So
I've linked to the work in progress PR in the agenda.
Yeah,
All right.
agenda. Awesome. Thank you.
Here we are. Yeah. So
Cool.
that was good feedback, Zach. Anyone else got something they want to comment on? Or again, you can chuck stuff onto the PR. I'm subscribed. Philippe's subscribed. He should be. He's the author.
I see.
Are there any qualities that it's important that the API documentation has, or that are nice to have but important nice to have?
I need more time to think about this, but I will keep this PR open.
Thank you, Celeste.
The answer to that is probably yes, but not that I am prepared to do so now.
From personal experience, I think having it be mobile friendly or being able to render on mobile as well as desktop and search, I think are two of the most important features that I look for in reference documentation.
Cool. So possibly static site rendering versus JavaScript could be a consideration, because not every search engine renders JavaScript. I'm also interested, and I'm sure Philippe will be as well, in people who've got experience of other docs projects that have APIs and how what's worked and what hasn't worked there.
As I mentioned, I have opinions, but I need some time to collate them.
I have strong opinions as well, but I think mine are already represented in the nature and the scope of the project proposal. So.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a bunch of good feedback. Thanks, people.
Awesome. All right. I think, yep, that's the end of our agenda. Anything else that folks would like to discuss, talk about?
Well, I have one.
Brad?
Before this agenda closes, and if this is your last meeting as chair, I just want to say thanks, Zach. I've known you for several years. You know, I don't know, compared to the other folks, I don't know who's known you the longest in your chair role. I think it's me. You've always made SIG Docs a wonderful working environment, a place, a great community. It's one of the reasons why I kept showing up, is because it was just such a wonderful place to participate and contribute. So I'm not letting you get out of here as chair without somebody speaking up and saying, thank you for your leadership. I think you've done an amazing job, and Docs is better because of it.
Thank you very much. You know, Docs is a collaborative experience, and it takes wonderful people to create a wonderful group. So thank you.
I'm so excited for all your free time. Not free time. I'm excited for you to take on new, interesting responsibilities.
Do we have any idea what the next adventure is, or is that still under wraps?
It's mostly on to other CNCF projects.
Okay.
sort of expanding outward and across.
Fantastic.
Cool. Well, let's close it.
I'm going to say thank you, Zach, while you do that.
So, all right, that's the SIG meeting. Take care, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks.